A little motivation for you. A little motivation for you.
Man, welcome to Tips Tuesday Live Rehashed, where our aim is to inspire, encourage, and motivate. And no, your eyes do not fool you. I am not your illustrious, beautiful host, Tiphani. She's a little under the weather. So I have stepped in tonight for an impromptu to the takeover episode. The show must go on. With that being said, I'm bringing back the hashtag. So if you're watching and you were watching before, you know the last time I took over, I gave away a merchandise bundle. And I will be doing that again tonight. So as you're watching the show, go ahead and comment. Hashtag to the takeover. Fill up them comments and we're going to do a raffle at a later episode. But enough about that. Let's get to this tonight. So I have a great host, a good friend of ours, wonderful guy here, Pastor Tevin Ramirez, joining me tonight for the show.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
To the takeover today.
To the takeover. It's a little impromptu, so you know, I'm kind of doing things that I don't normally do, so I might be out of order on some things, but hey, we're gonna make it happen. It's a to the takeover.
That's what we do.
Yeah. So with that being said, before I let you introduce yourself, let me go ahead and get, let's pay the bills, as they say. Let's get the sponsors out the way. Let's talk about some of that Tiph's Tip merch. She does now have her 2024 calendar, her journals, and her bookmarks for sale. As you can see on your screen, you can get the journals or the calendar for $15 a piece. The bookmarks, there's 4 different bookmarks for $2 a piece, but you can buy a journal, a calendar, and a bookmark of your choice for just $25. Now, the bundle that I'm putting together will be the journal, the calendar, and 1 bookmark of your choice. So, as you see, the merchandise she also has her music. You can go to all platforms. Doesn't matter. All platforms. She out there. I prefer Spotify. That's where I listen at. But you can find all of her music. Her Crunk and Soul. Yeah, I'll be grooving when that track drops. Yeah, but go check that out. It's good stuff, good music if you haven't already. All right, so I'll go ahead and give you a little time to introduce yourself to the world. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you got going on in life, Mr. Ramirez.
Mr. Ramirez. So, for those who don't know, my name is Tevin Ramirez, aka Pastor Tevin Ramirez. I'm still getting used to the pastor, like I always say. I am just a normal person, a computer engineer by trade. I love people, love helping community. I'm into pushing the community. I am, like I said, a pastor where we go and we help the community. We give out free food. We go to the nursing homes, and that's me. Ever since I was little, I was that guy. So, um, yeah, I'm just Tevin. At the end of the day, no matter pastor, whatever, I'm just Tevin.
Okay, you just Tevin. Hey, it's cool that you said about the community, because our quote today, that's just gonna run me right into the quote. I'm gonna have that quote put up on the screen for me, please. It's coming. There we go. The one thing flour, butter, salt, egg, sugar, milk, and vanilla flavor all have in common: the potential to be a cake, but not alone. That's a quote of my own, you guys.
Okay, I didn't know you
And
was a poet.
what's that?
I didn't know you was a poet too. You
I do a little bit of everything, you
a
know.
little bit.
Hey, but that quote is actually one that I used in the sermon that I delivered. But it's basically saying, everybody love cake. You get your pound cake, your piece of cake. Everybody love cake. But before it was cake, it was just all of them ingredients. And if you just took, some flour and stuck it in your mouth, it don't taste that good.
Right.
You just take an egg and crack it in your mouth, it don't taste that good. But all of those different ingredients come together and they make a wonderful thing. And that just translates to community.
Right.
You an engineer, but you can engineer some things. I'm a chef, I can cook some stuff up.
He can,
You
y'all.
know?
He tears.
Tiff, she an organizer, a planner. She a walking planner. She put things together. The three of us can make a cake. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't do no engineer thing. And you probably not that great in the kitchen. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? He like,
I ain't gonna brag on myself. I ain't gonna. but you can cook though. Anybody, you need to make some plates and sell them because you're that good. You're that good.
Okay.
I still dream about that chicken you made that time. You make the chicken, and I mean it's so good. All the meals, they're so good. I dream about it. So
Okay, well, I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but I'm all right. Yeah, I do all right. Yeah. But anyways, we're not here to talk about how great the cooking is or whatever. That's just the quote that I had for us today. So ponder on that. We all know how we do it on Tips Tuesday Live Rehash. We go over the topics that Tiff has put forth in the morning show. So you can catch her in the morning on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, she drops a podcast release, an audio podcast on Spotify. I got to apologize. This week, we didn't get one. Like I said, she's under the weather. She's not feeling very good. So, but we do have the jar. And what we like to do here is we got the small jar and we got the large jar. So the large jar is the past conversation topics that we've had. We're going to get to that later. First, we're going to get into the small jar. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll shuffle it up and pull one of these out and present it to you. And then, the floor be yours. You can elaborate on it however you see fit. And then we'll bounce back and forth. I'll do some elaborating too. So it's only like two of them in here, y'all. But I'm showing y'all I ain't cheating. I'm switching it around.
that mixed it up.
All right. So this is current season topics right here. Let's see what we got. Whoo, this is a good one. Be real with yourself.
Man, be real with yourself. Goodness, I'm gonna say it like this. I believe that the first step, this is what I was always taught by my grandparents, especially my grandpa, who always say the first step is to confess. And like you said, be real with yourself. You got to have a starting point. If you're going to go anywhere in life, you got to be real and say, I'm not where I want to be. You got to just sit there. I think people don't take time with themselves, HD. They don't take time to think. Like you said, you have to be real with yourself. And there's times where I have to sit back. I like to have a few type of friends with me. A friend that encourages, but I also like that friend that's real. That one that people don't really like all the time because I try to keep one of them in my team because I want somebody to tell me that shirt don't look good today. See,
Okay.
my sister just came over here a while ago and she got on to, she like, I don't like that shirt. I ain't like them shoes. You need to fix this. And see, you need people like that in your team because you need to be real with yourself. I can keep on going on, but
Hey, look, I'm gonna jump in there a little bit. So look, I feel like this is such a great topic because a lot of people nowadays we get into this social media imagery
right.
where we try to portray some things that are just not real.
Exactly.
And you have to take some time to reevaluate yourself and just really be real with yourself, like it says. Cause like, you out here stunting and whatnot, and people come around and see you for that image that you portray on social media, and that might not be who you are. And this is like, I'm gonna give you natural, then I'm gonna give you spiritual. It just is what it is. So like naturally, I ain't jumping down a flight of stairs. 10, 15 years ago, I could do that. But I have to be real with myself when I come to a flight of stairs now today that 35-year-old HD ain't making this flight of stairs. You know what I'm saying? And what I thought I could do back in the day, I could do it. I could bust that flight and keep on going. Oh, the bones ain't made. See the way my bones set up now, they
Hey,
that's me being real with myself.
them bones will tell you the truth though. That's the
They,
thing. They shall tell you the truth.
they will about yourself, yeah. And that's the in the natural sense. But in a spiritual sense, like you got to be real with yourself when you step up to the plow and you talking about accepting God and living a life for God or a
Right.
certain way. You gotta be real with yourself. It's some things that you just can't do. You can't portray
Exactly.
because you know what I mean. You have to be real with yourself when you get to be in it, and not just spiritually, but in the public eye. Period. People look up to you, whether you
Right.
know it or not.
Right.
Go ahead. You have something to say?
I was thinking about, talking about the spiritual. I think about the centurion in the Bible and how he says, God, I ain't worthy for you to come under my roof. He confessed and said, that's the first step of it. Confessing, I know that you're a great guy, you're a great man, I know where you stand compared to where I stand. And God says, you have more faith than a lot of people out here because he understood where he was. And I think, like you said, you got to be real because I realized that the people I help are people who are real, living real lives. You can't give somebody something fake. People tired of that. They tired of fake stuff. I want something that is going to help me. People like results, HD. People don't do stuff that the reason why you keep on doing the same is cyclic, or the cycles that your people are in is because they go to a place where somebody tells them something that's not real, and then they go home and try to do it and they fail, and then they sitting back like this. I can't keep on repeating this cycle.
Yeah.
At my church and at Abundant Life Ministries, we talk about the real. I sit down, I get down in the floor. You have the altar and the podium and stuff. I get down and walk the floor and sit down in the seat saying, I've been in the back seat like you because this is real. And that's why I like helping the homeless. I went to when we gave out food one day, and I remember going to get this food, and there's a man. He was outside of the homeless shelter. It's like where you get the food at, but there's homeless people live there. And he was out there. He had this long like machete sword, and I was, he's out there cutting stuff. And when I walked up on him, I'm like, people were scared. They're like, can you go over there and they're scared to get around him. But I walked up to him because he's a real person like I am. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Are you straight? How's everything going? He was just a real regular person, everyday person. And I was thinking if I was too mighty and too big, living a life, superficial, I wouldn't have went up to him. But because I know I'm a real person, like he's a real person, I was able to go and understand his struggle. So he was a nice dude. I offered him some food, and that's what we need today. We need some real.
Yeah, and that that starts with you, like you said. If you was faking the funk, you know what I'm saying. If you couldn't just ground yourself and be real with yourself, hey, I'm Tevin. I'm just as much human as this man. I'm not passing judgment.
Right.
My man over here. Let me go over here. Put yourself in a human place, because that's what we are. We human. But a lot of us want to get out here, like I said, in the social media world, the way that the world has been, how it's been going and how it's been progressing here lately. It's like the image that you put out on social media has to be everything. Like you said, you passing out food. How many videos have you seen of people like passing out food and but it's not even about that. Why you got to record it all? Like,
right.
Where's the sincerity in you?
If I show half of what I do behind the scenes, I show a piece, but the behind the scenes stuff, I don't even want to show it. It ain't for my good. It ain't. I don't really have to have a name. I'm sitting back like, as long as I get this person to their next level and help them to be happy. And life, people just want to be happy. People just want to enjoy, have joy.
Yeah. And then what happens, my brother, is that you get your just reward. When you do that, you get your reward right here. That gratitude and all of that you're seeking, that's your reward. But this is supposed to be for the glory of God, the things that you're doing, Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I'm trying not to keep too long on that one, but that's good.
Hey, look. Look, we could talk all night, I ain't gonna hold the viewers though. I know people got to go to work, but yeah, that's a good one. Be real with yourself. I'm looking at the comments real quick. Let's see. I'm not seeing any comments today right now. I think she been having technical difficulties with the comments showing up, but
yeah.
But I can see the comments after the show is over with. So still, I see we got the viewers. I'm giving out another bundle. I done had to take over the show again, impromptu like, so I'm giving out another bundle. Oh, here goes some. Here goes somebody. Hey, somebody said, "Hey, what up? What up? What up?" Okay, so look, I'm giving out another merch bundle, y'all. It's the journal, calendar, and the bookmark. So all you got to do is flood the comments with hashtag to the takeover, TUDDA takeover. All right, hashtag to the takeover. The person with the more times you comment, the better your chances are. We had somebody last time that had almost half the pie chart because they commented so many times. So you comment, get your comments in, and yeah, we're gonna put you in the raffle, and we're gonna raffle off that merchandise later. Our previous winner was Sister Whitney Jones. Shout out to her for winning. So yeah,
congratulations.
Let's get this next topic.
Shake it good, HD. Shake it good. I can do it now.
All right, I'm gonna close my eyes. We're gonna have to get her some better sheets. They take up like, or I got a big hand, All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, hi Diam. Yeah, to the takeover, y'all. Go ahead, run your comments up. Ooh, this is a good one. Oh, this is a good one. Appreciate the storms.
Come on.
Appreciate the storms.
Oh, I'm supposed to start. Okay, I have to remember that. Man.
Oh, you don't have to start. I can go first if you need some time to think.
Oh, I got this is what I've been this is what I've been speaking on for about those 2 months.
Come on with it.
Because people, we holler for growth. I want to grow. Oh God, I want to grow. I want all this, and then next thing you know, you get hit with a storm. In life, your storm is your growth. Think about. I use these examples because who I am. think about David, how he was sitting there and he was just giving some cheese out to his brothers, and his brothers, they were scared of this big giant dude over here. Big, he's got this deep voice. Y'all, I don't like y'all's God. I don't like y'all. And David's sitting there like, who is he talking to? He's coming against my God. Y'all sitting back scared. And David's sitting there looking at his brothers like, y'all scared. So David runs up and fights and defeats this giant. And I feel like people, they wonder why every time they pray for growth, it seems like a storm happens. Well, the giants in your life is going to take you to your victory, because David was a man who he had a stone. And see, I can get deep into the theological, to exegete this scripture right here. But if you look at the stones, you look at how there's the word and how many stones he had, and it represented the grace of God. I feel like through God's grace and through the word of God, you're able to defeat the giants in your life. And once you defeat those giants, you get to your next level, and then another storm comes. I spoke that like this month, and I've been talking about appreciate the storms, because that's the plate for you to stand taller on. And when I spoke about that, it seemed like every storm started hitting me. Everything from the job, everything from the family. I was sitting there, I was like, God, what's going on? And I started conquering those storms. And I started seeing God move me higher into position. And then I started seeing this change in my life and my family. And I sit there, I'm like, God, I appreciate this storm. What are you about to say, HD?
Oh, I got something cooking. So listen, since you went with David, this is where I'm at in my studies right now, is Psalms and whatnot.
Right.
And you find that David ends up being a messed up individual, right?
Right.
But he was an individual after God's own heart.
Right.
The reason why is because he knew how to reach God's heart.
Come on.
Let me back up.
Come on.
David and Goliath. Now we're talking about, people talk about this story, and I've heard this story all my life. But when you start studying it, you realize that Goliath was the champion of an army. So when David went up to face Goliath, he was facing a whole army of people. See, and Goliath was just the face of that army. And see, you hear people say all the time, you cut off the head and the body of die, right?
Exactly.
So David, like you said, he was about that life. They was all scared, but he was about that life. He was like, oh, so y'all talk about my God? Okay, let me show you about how my God worked. He got them stones, and he went up there and let him fly, knocked that man off his feet.
Spiritual bullets just,
and bam, and you saw a whole army turn and walk away. So, get into the story, read it yourself, because it get deep. He ended up slicing his head off. He was about that life.
And what did he cut off? He cut off his head. The thing is, a lot of people, they're looking at the superficial things and to try to cut off the problems in their life. But God is saying, you got to cut off that head. You got to get to the root of that issue. The root. See, people have situations going on, and they're sitting there like, oh, if I just, my heart's hurting. If I just go out here and I get some nice clothes, I exercise a little bit, I try to look all good, and I'm gonna fix all my problems. I get a little money, I get a little fame. But the thing is, there's something deeper, and you get all that stuff, and I found out if you're crazy at a little state, you get higher in status, you're gonna be even bigger crazy. Yeah, you get even higher, you're gonna be even bigger. So I'm sitting there because I live this out myself. I feel like there's times where I didn't get down to the root of it. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you got to cut that head.
Oh yeah, you got to. And these storms. So when the storm come up, you got to realize something about the storm, because that was just a part of David's life that was gonna take him to the next part, where God had to throw some things at him to prepare him for what he was gonna get later. Right. This position that he was gonna have later. So them storms was coming up to prepare him. Think about how storms work. Let's take it to the natural, okay? So storms, that's irrigation.
Right.
So you got a seed, right? And you put it in the dirt. It takes a few things to grow. It takes the sun. Okay, stay with me.
Come
It
on,
takes
Pastor
the sun,
HD.
and then it takes a little irrigation. You gotta have
Right.
some storms to come through and water the things in your life. You asking for growth, you asking for prosperity. Come on now.
Come on.
Woo, you getting me started
The
up now.
thing is this is look at this. Jesus is sitting there. He says, I want you to go get some donkeys because I'm gonna ride in on some donkeys. Oh, and I'm gonna ride in. I'm entering in. I'm showing them. This is how I'm going to enter the kingdom. I'm entering the kingdom on a donkey. A donkey. If you look at a donkey, how humble a donkey can be. It can be stubborn, but it can. It's a humble. It's not a stallion. It's not an elephant. It's not a giraffe. It's a little creature. And he's riding on this donkey. And the thing that God spoke to me is that how many people trying to ride on a donkey, because the thing is when you're riding on a donkey, people don't look at you as a king. Sometimes they don't realize, see, when you don't look like, see, the people thought that Jesus was going to come as, you know, somebody fighting and all this terrorizing, but he came as Ben Joseph. He came as a son of Joseph. He came like a servant, a humble servant. But the thing is, I think that people they expect that when they want growth, they expect, you know, not to see a storm. They have a certain expectation, but God is saying you miss your blessing when you pass up the storms. When you pass up what you're going through, you need to appreciate those storms, actually.
Right, because the one thing about a storm is it's to test you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What you're asking for, are you worthy of it? Are you ready for it? The storm will come to test to see if you're worthy and you ready. But what comes after a storm though? You get
Right.
joy, you get rainbows.
Right.
So you in order to get to the rainbow though, you got to come through that water, that storm, that shaking, that wind, that lightning. It's gonna hit you, but it's gonna make you better on the other side though.
But see, if you look at that rainbow, it has multi-colors in it. And the thing is, people don't realize the storms helps to bring out all the colors that you have. I ain't never seen myself have to push through after deaths and after having to take over a church. And I didn't know I had all this in me, but it brought out all those colors because the storm, it brings out what it's supposed to bring out. And like you said, I'm gonna be real though. I like you talk about being a real, I'm still working on this.
Yeah.
There's too many storms that I said, God, I don't want that. Take this cup from me. But thine will be done. When I get to that point, I'm like, God, it is what it is. But God, take this cup. If you can, if I don't got to do this, why won't you call that person over there? But I'm just, like you said, you got to appreciate him. I'm still learning that.
Yeah. Hey, we all some whips though. You know, work in progress.
That's Bishop Megan.
Hey, Bishop Macon. That's right. We all some whips. We work in progress, and in our reality, you know, being real with ourselves, it may look like we got it all made up and we got it all together, but we don't. And I'm telling you, I go through the same storm around the same time of year every year, and it hit me in the face like, because after I get through it, I'll be like, man, it's the same thing I went through last time. And when you in that storm, the best thing to do is to stop rowing. Pull up the mast, pull the oar out the water, and let God carry you on to shore. You know what I'm saying? Right. You got to stop fighting it. And that, but you appreciate it afterwards, though. You appreciate how when you come out, you really do appreciate what those storms have taught you and what it has brought you through and brought you to. That's that purpose. You know, we was talking about with David, he had to go through so much. And like I said, he was messed up. But he always knew how to reach God's heart in that praise and that worship. God inhabits the praises of his people. And when you are going through and you bring it back to God, you was like, God, you said you'll never leave me and forsake me. Yes, God, you said you would bring me through this. And God, I praise you through this right now.
Yes, sir.
God, I can't see what's on the other side, but I'm moving my hands and I'm praising you right now, God. And that touches God's heart.
Right. Because, see, I this is what I believe, HD. In studying the word, I don't believe God. I believe God is not an egotistical God. I believe God is a God who allows us to praise him, because when we praise and worship, it reminds me of something that I've heard from Zig Ziglar one time. He says that there was a woman who went to work and she would complain about work, but when she started making a grateful list every day, and Tiph says it all the time, make a grateful list, she started seeing the good things that was actually happening on her job. And she actually said job changed and it started getting better. But the thing is, it opened her up so she could see the reality. And I feel like a lot of times when we praise and worship, what happens, it opens us up. So God can, because I believe that God speaks to us a lot of times when we're at rest. I was speaking to that I can go deep into that, but what I believe God can speaks to us a lot during our rest time, during the Sabbath times, and the times where we're able to. And when we praise and worship itself means to show worthy of, to show God that He's worthy. Even in the midst of the storm, God, you still Daenu, meaning that God, you're enough. God, you're still worthy of the praise and worship, and that's what we have to do during that time.
Yeah, I'm looking at these comments.
I
Got
saw
somebody over here say after the storm comes the cleanup. Sometimes we forget that. Okay.
Right there.
Okay. Then we look. Diane in here. She throwing them scriptures out on it.
Go to bed.
Throwing the scriptures out on it. Yeah.
After the storm, yes, sir. You got to clean it up.
You got to clean it up.
And the storm cleans up a whole lot of mess. I ain't seen. We can keep on going. Diane put a whole scripture on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but it's right there with what we're talking about. And we can really get deep on the storms and what happened after the storm and how storms drive you to your purpose.
It does.
This more and more. Hardship drives you towards where you're supposed to be.
It does.
Because what I'm guilty of, and I'm just gonna talk about me. Right. What I'm guilty of is getting stagnant.
Come on now.
I'm guilty of getting comfortable. And see, the only way you can get to success is to be a little uncomfortable.
Come on now.
The only way you can get away from being stagnant is to move a little bit.
To move.
But if you comfortable, you don't want to move. And what we'll do a lot of times is we'll get comfortable in the mess.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? You'll get comfortable. The job is trash. They treat you bad, but you comfortable because the bills is paid and you just okay with that.
Right.
The relationship is horrible. She don't treat you right. Or he just terrible. He a dog. He don't treat you right. But you feel a little comfort from them when they lay down with you at night. So you don't want to leave what's already warm and comfortable. But if you just let that go.
Yes.
And that's what the storms will do. Sometimes though, we get these storms that's just not big enough for you. Sometimes you be having these little flyby storms. They just want to come through and water the garden a little bit and keep on pushing. Right. But when that Katrina come through though, and it hits you like it really need to hit you, that storm will push you towards your purpose. It'll push you up out of that. So what I'm learning is hardship. Sometimes it take hardship because we stubborn. As humans, we're stubborn, we hard-headed, but it take a little hardship to get you off of your tail and start moving you towards where God needs you to be. Come on, somebody.
Where the praise break? Where the organ at? Hold on, let me.
Hey, she got a little tambourine around here somewhere.
If you can pass the collection plate, HD. That plate.
They messed up and put two preachers on the screen. That's all it is.
Come on, HD.
Yeah. This is a good time. Yeah, and the comments are flowing through. I see y'all. I see them to the takeover. I see that getting dropped in there a lot too, so that's good.
Yeah.
But man,
when we do, for those who don't know, when we text, when we on the phone, me and HD, this is what we do on the regular. So this ain't nothing new.
Yeah. Hey, brother, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. You been all right? Yeah. See, I got something good. Yeah, this is it.
I be on the phone. I be at work. They be like, "What? You need to be working." I be like,
Real quick, yeah. Man, let me tell you something. This episode is flowing. I feel like we ain't even been on here for a minute though.
I know it's been a little bit, but I
But
ain't.
that's what happened when you get a little good conversation. So now, usually though, at this point, the previous guest will have left a topic
Oh, okay.
to kind of expound on. But I think that we missed out on that topic to expound on. So I just got a question for you, real quick.
All right. Hold on.
Okay, this is more Tevin specific.
I may have an answer.
Okay, so I know a little bit about your story. I know that you had some trials, some deaths in your family, and then you were put in a position to step up
Mhm.
and step into a leadership role.
Mhm.
How has that changed you? How has that grown you as an individual, spiritually and just naturally over this time period here?
If I was being honest, I think about David. Like I said, you're talking about David. And if you study his story, he starts out in the field with the sheep, with the goats, and fighting the lions and the bears and the tigers. Y'all know the story. But the thing is, I think about my life when I was younger. I stayed, stay with my mother, but my mother, she released me to let me stay with my grandparents. And my grandpa was a bishop, and my grandma was a strong woman. I had two strong people in my family, my grandparents. My grandma owned her own business, my grandpa owned his own business, and they still stayed together. That's a blessing to me. But getting to my story is talking about the beginning, which is them. They helped raise me and push me. They had me to read for them. I was wondering why I was the only one having to study and read this Greek and Hebrew and all this other stuff with them. And I felt like I was groomed for this position right now. Um, I remember I would spend nights, me and my aunt would stay up late at night, and I would spend nights and we'd be talking about what we don't like in church and what we do and what needs to be changed. And she'll come all the way down from Tennessee. And but the thing was, God was molding some things within my soul. And when this position came about, my grandmother was diagnosed, for those who don't know, with cancer, colon gallbladder cancer. And my grandpa, actually, he had, believe it or not, he passed. His heart stopped, and I was the only one here in the house. And that day, God started speaking to me through a gentleman. He said that now you're the man of the house, and God started molding me even with that. And going back to my grandmother, she had, she passed with cancer, and just seeing and going through all of that, the struggle. God was telling me, Tevin, I prepared you because right before my grandmother passed, she ordained me to be the pastor of the church. And I was thinking, I'm kind of least likely to be the pastor, even though it, some may say I was, ready for it. I was like, God, I'm gonna be real. I wasn't the biggest fan of church. I like church, but the people, can I be real with you, AJ?
You can be real with me, yes.
I said, Lord Jesus, I'd rather stay home and I just rather stay home and take a nap on Sunday. But but God said, go ahead. And he gave me a great team, assistant pastor, Pastor Andrevius Brandon. I got to talk about him at Pastor Dre. He gave me a team, like that's my bro. And the whole church, we all came as a community. And like you said, God groomed me for this. And I didn't realize God groomed me until I got into the first couple of Sundays and people started coming in from the street. We had people coming from prison and that were strung out on drugs, and they come to church, and now they're texting me, and now they're giving, helping people out, and they're coming off the street. They got a job and they're getting better. I had started seeing people who is in various different positions of life, and they started changing their ways, and the church started growing, and it's still growing at this moment. So my thing was, God, if you can use me, then I believe you can use anyone. I believe that you can use anyone out here. So now I'm pressing. And like you said, the struggles, everything pushed me and showed me that I could do more than what I can even fathom. So
I gotta talk on that. You didn't want to go. listen, listen,
Yes, sir.
and I want to
Yes,
touch
sir.
on the. I want to touch on the grooming too. Listen, um, God, it seemed like He don't often choose the people that just want to go.
Exactly.
You know, you said you looked at it and you was like, little old me, like, how am I ready for this? But you said something earlier though. Jesus chose to ride in on a donkey because
Exactly.
the donkey was the lowly animal.
Right.
That's not, the flamboyance of an elephant, but you know that the donkey can still serve as great a purpose as the elephant. So you
Right.
might have felt like you wasn't enough or you wasn't prepared enough, but then he chooses and he who he sends, he
He,
prepares. You was being prepared all along. See, that's the same thing. Like when I went through my church hurt, because the church,
come
the
on.
church,
The church. You know,
okay, the
the
church,
old school. You gotta have that lip with it.
yes,
Yeah.
them folks, them peoples can be they could be a little more harsh than the world sometimes. So when I went through my church hurt, you couldn't get me to drive past a church.
Go to block. You went to block.
I bust a circle real quick and go around the other way. Okay. But one thing about it, like it didn't matter how far I got away from the church. I never got far enough away from the church. It was always there.
Right.
Sunday morning, I knew I should be in a church somewhere. I would be restless.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? When you have a job, when God got a job for you to do, you're gonna end up doing it whether you try to or not. He's gonna get the glory from your life either way. So you might as well go with the current. Be like water and flow with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can take Jonah. He thought he was getting away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But when God got a purpose for you, he'll take you through a whole well of stuff.
He'll take a whole
bring you back to where you need to be. So even though I was like done with it, I was over it. Like you better not say nothing to me about no church, about no Jesus, no God. I don't want to hear it. I'm out here. I'm in the mud by myself, getting it. But even though I went through all of that, it came full circle. I had to come back. I got out to Arizona and was like, I got prodigal son life out there. It was decent, but I was like, I got to go home. Like, I'm finna be out here in the streets. I got to go home. It'll live better than this.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's something. When he gets you though prepared, he sends you and he give you an assignment. He ain't gonna send you out there without preparation. So
right.
That is what's up, man. This has been a quick little hour, little 45 minutes.
Done already?
It's there. I follow all of the protocols that Allison gave me. We did both of the jars. It's the went by so quick. I'm up for talking all. We can go another hour for all I care. But I will say
again, and make sure Tiph's there. So
right, yeah, we're gonna do this again. Bring you back, and she gonna be well, so she can host her own show. The right way, because I'm sure I left something out. I just feel like
I can hear it. I can hear it. You need to do this. You need to do. I can hear it already.
I can feel it. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but I will reiterate everything so far. So listen, she got the merch right now. The Tips merch, Tips Tuesday merchandise. You can get the calendar, the journal for $15 a piece. You can get one of 4 bookmarks or all 4 bookmarks if you want them. They $2 a piece. But if you get a journal and a calendar and a bookmark, you can get it for $25. Bringing me to my point over here, the comments were lit with the to the takeover. I see Sister Holmes was like, to the takeover. I'm still gonna accept that because that's technically the same word. Hey. My name is H to the D, but we urban H to the D. To the D. So either way, we're gonna accept that. We're gonna put those in for the raffle. Look forward to it. Maybe next episode or the episode after. So you have to come back and see that you won, so we can get information and send it out to you. Okay. that bundle. So you got that. She got her music. Check it out on all platforms. You can type in Tiph, Tiphani, Southern Made Entertainment. You can type in that. You can type in the albums, Crunk and Soul, Inspiration Loading, The Feelings That I Have. You can type those in there and pull it up. Listen to that music. Follow, share, please. It's worth it. I'm telling you, it is. She got more music in the works. I can't wait, y'all. I'll be hearing it over and over. So when y'all get it, it's gonna be old to me, but it's still lit. Okay,
lit.
Share, follow on all platforms. I'd like to thank you, my guest, Pastor Tevin Ramirez.
I appreciate the offer and praying for Tiph, but I enjoy it always.
Yeah, and this was just like sitting at the table having a conversation. We do this.
Yeah.
You know, that was easy. So yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you, viewers, for watching. This has been another wonderful To The Takeover episode. Yeah, To The Takeover episode. I know I like to do that every once in a while. I can't do it quite like her, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? So yes, thank y'all for watching. Tevin, my guy, we're gonna have to get together soon. I'm coming to Russellville for that bakery you was talking about. Okay,
come on down. So
yeah, but thank y'all, and until next time, holla dollar.
A little motivation for you. A little motivation.